Firefighters are busy from the west to the east. Wildfires have burned across New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania this weekend, filling skies with smoke and claiming at least one life. In California, fire crews are making progress against the massive mountain fire north of Los Angeles. CBS's Elise Preston is in the devastated city of Camarillo.
Txhua2 firefighters are getting the upper hand on the devastating mountain fire. Evacuation orders have been downgraded to evacuation warnings for more than 14,000 people. Families are dealing with the aftermath. An unimaginable loss. The ferocious mountain fire in Camarillo, California, sparing little in its 32-mile path. Janice Lindsay is one of the many homeowners who lost everything to the inferno, including her 2 cats.
We had our hands on both of them at one point, and they broke free. I'm certain they didn't get out.
While residents assess the damage, nearly 3,000 firefighters are mopping up hotspots. More than 20,000 acres still burn with 26% containment. In the east, wildfires have ignited in several states. In New York, a tragic loss. 18-year-old Darielle Vasquez, a state parks employee, died battling the Jennings Creek fire. That fire is also raging in New Jersey. Over 2,500 acres torched, 0% containment. Dry conditions have made the Garden State a tinderbox. The New Jersey Forest Fire Service has responded to more than 40 fires.
Not only is the fire burning on top of the ground, but it's burning under the ground.
In Pennsylvania, the Never Sink fire fought by air and by land. Smoke from these fires harming the public. Toxic air spreading through the region. Back in Camarillo, California,
I know there's a wedding band.
Time to start over.
Along with grief, there's joy and there's hopefulness.
CAL FIRE says it has a dozen damage inspection teams in the field. Air quality is also improving, Txhua2, with Ventura County schools set to reopen Tuesday after the Veterans Day holiday.
All right, Elise Preston, thank you. First, the blizzard, now the big melt. In Colorado, snow fell for 5 days, making travel treacherous. Some areas got more than 30 inches. Thousands lost power. New Mexico was also pummeled. These cattle, as you can see there, weathered it together. 7 more inches of snow fell after this video was shot. As for what's ahead, let's check back in with CBS News meteorologist Andrew Kozak.
Yeah, Txhua2, good evening. Good news for the people and for the cows in this area. Not only are we going to be looking at sunshine to start the week off, 40s, 50s, and 60s for these areas that received several feet of snow. That's going to lead to some good melting. Now to California. I've highlighted Ventura County. In the morning, it's not going to be as bad. In fact, this will help the firefighters with those fires out there. But then by the afternoon, we're going to be looking at a wind advisory with winds gusting over 25 to 35 miles per hour. It's going to push a lot of that smoke inland, but it also could help spread the fire. So we're not done yet. Now, we are done with the dry streak in the Northeast. So nice to finally see areas like New York and Philadelphia get a soaking rain into Monday morning. It's not everything we need, but it certainly helps. Looking at Monday at a glance, Pacific Northwest, we have rain and snow for the higher elevations. Nice, sunny, and comfortable in the Midwest. And after that soaking rain in the Northeast, up and down 95, we're looking at a dry and sunny start to the week. Txhua2?
Andrew Kozak, thank you so much. Tonight, an arrest in Tuskegee, Alabama, where at least one person is dead and several injured after a shooting at the university's 100th homecoming. CBS's Jason Allen is there for us tonight with the details. Jason.
Txhua2, law enforcement said they've arrested a 25-year-old man who they say had a handgun with a machine gun conversion device. There is obviously a lot of concern among students who are coming back to campus, even as investigators are still collecting evidence.
Oh my gosh.
A centennial celebration interrupted by panic and gunfire.
We were having fun, and all of a sudden I saw people running towards me before I heard gunshots.
Nursing student Kimora Bean spoke to us today as she came back to the Tuskegee University campus with her mother hours after a bullet hit her in the back, centimeters from her spine.
I tried to get up and run to my friend's car, and that's when I got shot in my back and ended up getting hit three times, and I was on the ground shot for like 40 minutes until the paramedics could even get to me.
Bean was one of more than a dozen people caught in the crossfire early Sunday.
One of them, 18-year-old Tsavyam Johnson, was killed.
It was just so chaotic. People trying to get out, trying to do everything, and it was just crazy.
Johnson was not affiliated with the university, the school confirmed in a statement to CBS News.
It was just really sad that we had to go through this, especially since it's our homecoming and it was the last day of homecoming.
4 more people were injured in all the chaos, but they were not shot. Eureka, the university has canceled all of its classes for tomorrow.
Such scary moments. Jason Allen, thank you. Turning to politics now, where it's official. Today we learned that President-elect Donald Trump swept all 7 battleground states, which include Arizona, the last state to be called, and it's one that President Joe Biden won back in 2020. The final electoral vote count, Trump 312, Vice President Kamala Harris 226. Now Donald Trump is set to return to Washington this week. CBS's Natalie Brand is at the White House with more on that. Natalie, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. President Biden will meet with President-elect Trump here at the White House on Wednesday. It's the first time they are speaking face-to-face since their debate back in June. And it's an invite that was not extended by Trump when President Biden was preparing to take office. President Biden returned to the White House today with his administration committed to a smooth and orderly transition.
President Biden is committed to the peaceful transfer of power and to a responsible handoff from one president to the next, which is in the best tradition of our country and has been for the last 240 years.
That presidential precedence was upended 4 years ago.
They rigged an election.
When then President Trump contested the election results, instead spreading unfounded claims of election fraud. All of them debunked after exhaustive lawsuits and investigations. Trump's sweeping comeback victory includes control of the U.S. Senate and possibly the U.S. House. Tonight, up to 10 races remain undecided, most of them in the West. That's left Democrats soul-searching about their losses, from allies to a former Biden primary challenger.
We've used condemnation of Donald Trump versus invitation to Donald Trump supporters.
We did not have a compelling enough economic vision. The Democratic Party should have one simple mission, and that is to address the economic hardships and struggles of many Americans.
Republicans are eager to enact their agenda.
I think this is a presidency that has a mandate like we haven't seen, as you mentioned, in 36 years.
Now, tonight, the Washington Post reports that Trump talked to Russian President Vladimir Putin late last week and told him not to escalate the war in Ukraine. A spokesman for Trump says he will not comment on private conversations between Trump and world leaders. Jerika?
Natalie Brand, thank you. Speaking of the war, Ukraine and Russia carried out their largest drone attacks today against each other since the start of the war. CBS's Chris Livesay reports.
The menacing buzz of an attack drone before it's blown out of the sky. All part of the biggest exchange of drones between Russia and Ukraine since Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. Ukraine fired dozens into the skies over Moscow, injuring a woman, officials said, and temporarily shutting down Russia's biggest airport in the Kremlin's own backyard. The same night, Ukraine says Russia fired a record 145 drones at cities like Odessa, killing one and injuring dozens. With the help of North Korean soldiers, Russia has intensified its offensive in Ukraine's east, but at a heavy cost.
October was the worst casualty figures for Russia so far. On average, over 1,500 people either killed or wounded every single day. And that is for tiny increments of land.
A pitched gun battle in Ukraine's east, where a Ukrainian soldier wearing a helmet camera is hit. I feel blood running down my back, he says. With arms and ammo running low, the big question lingering for Ukraine is, will President-elect Donald Trump, once in office, cut off military aid to this key American ally as threatened? Speaking to BBC Radio this weekend, a Trump campaign advisor offered a clue about Crimea, the Ukrainian peninsula Russian President Vladimir Putin invaded and annexed in 2014.
We've got news for President Zelensky. Crimea is gone. And if that is your priority of getting Crimea back, you're on your own. That is not the priority of America.
Chris Livesay, CBS News, Rome.
Today is Remembrance Sunday in Britain, marking the end of World War I. King Charles laid the wreath-laying ceremony at the Cenotaph in London, honoring the nation's war dead. Princess Catherine was there, returning to royal duties after chemotherapy, but Queen Camilla was absent, recovering from a chest infection. Straight ahead on the CBS Weekend News, world leaders set to address a warming planet, which experienced its hottest year on record.